The Sciforror Film Podcast. Hello and welcome to the Sciforror Film Podcast, the very first one of season 4. It is now 2023 and we are here back again.
Season 4.
Season 4, I know. 4
Wow.
years we've been doing this. And there are going to be a few changes this year. We are no longer doing just films that are on YouTube. We are going to be looking at some films that are on streaming channels and everything. We're not going to choose any that you have to pay extra for. So if you already have Netflix or Prime or Now or any of those sort of things, these films are on there for free. So
because I know there are ones on Prime that you've got to pay extra for to rent or no, it's just stupid.
Yeah, it's the same on Netflix and on the others. There are ones that you do have to pay extra for, but all of the ones we're going to choose are ones that are on a streaming service somewhere without you having to pay extra for. So we may even do some DVDs and things. I don't know. It depends what's happening. We'll work that out. Yes, old school.
Hard copy films.
Yes.
Looked over and I've got a pile of them sitting next to me.
Don't worry about it. We've got about 3 bookcases full. Can't remember the last time I watched one. Right. So yes, the other thing is again this year we will have the pleasure of taking part in the Romford Horror Film Festival. This year we've managed to secure a pass for each of us.
Yes.
So the 2 of us will be going and we will then be able to do a review program. We will also again be doing our Halloween special, and at the end of the year we'll be doing our Christmas special, obviously. And
wishing the year away already. You're wishing the year away already.
No, just laying things out. We will also try to see if we can get some more interviews we set up and things with different filmmakers and different people. Few interesting new things I've been following, short filmmakers I've been following on YouTube, so we can possibly get to talk to them, and some other things and bits and pieces and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Yes. So how are you, Scott?
A lot better than I have been, actually. I know it's still, well, as us recording this, it's February, January, so we're doing this all come out February. But yeah, as of the sort of at the moment, it seems to be okay. I'm not holding my breath that it's going to stay that way, but
yeah, well,
can't be any worse than last year. So
don't say that. Do not say that.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping it won't be anyway.
Yeah. So I mean, Christmas was what it was, and then we had New Year, and now here we are. And that's about all I really want to say about that.
Yeah.
So we shall carry on as we mean to go on. Again, we will be doing some different things. We're going to be doing shorts and feature films as we have been doing, but we may do a mix and do different things and stuff. We're going to try and do a few odd bits and pieces like we did last year, comparing sort of original films and the remakes, and also doing some comparisons between different films and stuff and things. And
I thought, for a minute, I thought you said we were going to start doing odd films. Did we do them all last year?
No. The only concession I have made to this year, in preference to my son Scott, is the fact that we are going to do as few films as possible from the 1980s, because last year seemed to be
It seemed to be a lot.
From the 1980s. So we'll try to deal with some more modern ones and maybe some older ones,
Yes.
some classics maybe. There you go.
Well, this the thing nowadays as well. It's the bit that makes me laugh. Is the ones from the 80s are classed as classics, and I'm like,
Yeah, but the thing is,
it as much as it's 10 years after, like, sort of before I was born, it sort of does make me feel old. I'm like,
the,
they're
the
classed
thing
as
about
classics.
the thing about the 80s films is the fact that there were some absolutely brilliant and groundbreaking and classic films made in the horror and sci-fi genre in the 1980s, but there were also an awful lot of rubbish.
Yes, there was
Because
an
lots
awful
and lots
lot.
of people came into the film market thinking, I can make a cheap movie. And some of them could do it really, really well, and some of them couldn't do it at all.
Yeah.
And there you go. So, right, enough of this, whatever this is. Uh, let's get on with the show. And so, let's get on with the show. And here we are. So, the first film we're going to do is a science fiction film from 2017, and it's called Takeover. This is through Last Turn Films, written and directed by Mark Patrick Prescott. The cast is Tim Rohn, Mark Patrick Prescott, Alex Cario, and Chris Finelli. The synopsis for this is: trouble finds us when Alex is replaced by an alien. Luckily, he doesn't do a very good job of hiding it. Lock up the butter.
Yeah, that confused the life out of me when I read that synopsis. I was like, he's so I've watched a lot of sci-fi films where a lot of people worry about like aliens and probing, and when it said lock up the butter, I was a bit worried about what we were going to watch.
Yeah, yes. I really like this film.
I did. I
I
did the
think it's
same.
really funny. It's a funny. The effects are good. It's just a really good, fun film. And what
Yeah,
I love about it as well is the fact that they do this whole kind of like, now hang on a minute, hang on, this isn't the way it would work in a science
yeah.
fiction film. It's not-
That's what I liked about it. It sort of didn't take itself too seriously, but it wasn't. I just absolutely just taking the mick out of itself. It was certain. It was just enough of it, and I think it was so well done. And I
oh,
sort of, I sort of, I've had this whole thing about sci-fi comedies don't sort of work that well, but I was a bit sort of dubious, and then went into this and the list like sort of the odd little one-liners and the little sort of slapstick bits and the little joke, and I was like, this is, works really well actually.
it's the fact that the alien was so disappointed when he didn't pass as a human.
Yeah,
And at the end, this last guy comes in and says, "Oh, hi everyone. What's he doing as an alien?"
yeah, I know.
You know, it's
I
like,
just, it's just the fact that there's sort of the certain bits like obviously it's the sort of piss the piss takes and the aims at other sci-fi films and things like that. Where it's just like, oh, we're gonna solve all our problems by shooting them all, and
yeah,
or we're gonna get like eradicate them all. And even they sit there like, you don't have to do that. You know, you can just talk to them.
yeah,
And I just thought, you know what? There's just I had this whole imagination, like this whole sort of thought of like Alien would be a completely different film.
yeah.
They just said just sitting there trying
Well,
to like,
it's that old thing, and it's that old Star Trek thing. You know, becoming peace, shoot to kill.
yeah. It's one of those I just loved it, and it's sort of, but it's just it was the whole the miscommunication as well, because obviously over in America, like when they say alien, a lot of them means like sort of refugees and stuff like that. So when they're
Yeah,
saying it
yeah,
over there, and they're saying like, "Oh yeah, he's an alien," one of them thinking that he meant like he didn't mean from outer space straight away. He meant from
yeah,
another country, and I thought it was quite funny. It was like it's only when he started saying it, I was like, "Oh yeah," because I suppose that's how it does get sort of
yeah,
miscommunicated. But it's just the sort of he went, "Oh yeah, no, I know what you meant from outer space, yeah, yeah," and the sort of not to make himself like screwed up a bit. But I think it's very well done.
it's fantastic. I mean, it's the guy playing the alien, or the guy playing the sort of the guy who's been taken over by the alien is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
He just kind of the way he's walking around and the things he does are just so well done.
I think I like the sort of the continuity bit in the credit as well, though, because when it comes up, obviously they were saying they played themselves, and then
Yeah,
an Alex bit he said, "Oh, he played himself," and then they put a question mark next to his name.
yeah,
I put it next to himself, and I'm like, I love the fact that they sort of carried it on. It wasn't. Just like, oh,
Yeah,
this is going to end,
yeah,
this is
yeah.
how it's going to be. But I
That's,
think I agree with you. I think it's such a great film.
it's a really good little fun film. It's really good fun to watch. It did make me laugh and make me smile and everything, which is
Yeah.
really good. I enjoyed that completely. Okay, second short film is called In the Bath, and this is a brand new film from 2023 from Deformed Lunchbox.
Yes,
Uh,
our friend at the full lunchbox.
yes, written and directed by Denman Hatch, cinematography Michael Cow, something like that. First assistant camera James Mercer, editor, colorist, and producer Peter Hatch, co-producer Jessica Chin King. I'm going to go for everyone on this because I think they deserve it. Audio recordist Thomas Rappaport and Sebastian Diaz. Art and props Jasmine Nichols Piasic. Makeup artist Mirella Bergsma. Sound design Sam Sandman, and the cast was Jessica Chin King and Sebastian Diaz. Now, the synopsis for this film is the bath is usually a relaxing and safe place to unwind after a long day, but not today. Today, the bath is not relaxing. It is not safe. You were warned.
Yeah.
Oh, what did you think?
Well, as much as she was meant to be joining us for this, but obviously not feeling too well. But I watched these today with Amy, and her exact reaction, or I might be paraphrasing a little bit, was, "That's my worst nightmare." Because it is, it's, the thing is, a lot of people have baths and have that to sort of relax and sort of get rid of the stress, and to have that tension of what's going on and someone breaking in and we sitting there with headphones on. And I think, again, with Default Networks, they've got such a weird way of doing it, but they've
Yeah.
got an amazing way of putting across like the sort of fears that people have in their own special way.
Yes, no, I agree. I see. I don't know. I really like the film. Don't get me wrong. I really, really like the film. I mean, you're always going to get a quality, well-made, good film from Lunchbox. They always make good films. This one has got the sort of level of humour in that a lot of their other stuff have got, and I kind of felt like recently they're kind of starting to get a little bit more serious with their films.
Mm.
Not that that's a problem. I mean, don't
No,
get me wrong. It's not a problem, but I kind of miss that kind of slightly twisted humour that they've had with their other films.
yeah, I'd
Um,
see what you mean.
but it's a great film. It really is. I mean, it's well acted, well put together. It looks fantastic. It's a really really good film. But I just kind of, I suppose I was expecting there to be a little bit more humour in it than there was. Uh,
Yeah,
but then that's possibly my fault, not necessarily theirs, because of the fact that I was expecting it because I've seen it in so many of their other films. I should maybe just have been watching it on its own merit and not thinking
yeah.
about their
I think
previous stuff.
think that's one of the things you have. You sort of not. There's no fault on theirs, but you sort of get to that point where you start expecting it from that person that makes it. Like,
Yeah,
you think a lot of people, you think, but a lot of filmmakers and a lot of like directors and stuff like that all get sort of put into that same box because that's what they're used to people doing,
but
and when they do something
I,
different,
I
it's a bit
think,
weird for it. But I do see what you mean. It's sort of, I was expecting a bit more of a sort of their usual mark on it.
but I mean, having said that, I mean they did put our film up on their channel, which isn't really the
No,
same sort of thing as their normal stuff. Yeah, but
yeah,
I mean, I love them for doing that. But I mean, I've yet to see one of their films that I haven't liked.
yes,
There's been this one, which as I say, I think more is more down to me expecting more of it than they make them than they should have done. I was expecting it to be funny when it maybe wasn't supposed to be. So that's my
yeah,
fault. So this is that one, and the only other one I kind of had any kind of issue with was the one about the sneeze, because it had
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
because of the
I
fact, because of
agree. But
the sort of imaging in it.
again,
But
it's down to me, not down to them. They've made
yeah,
great films, and it's just the way I react to them. And we're not all going to react the same way to every single film we see.
no, this is like we've talked about before, though. It's just that how you perceive it, and the fact that you can have sort of 100 people watch or look at a piece of art, or watch a film, or listen to a joke or something like that.
Yeah,
But no one's ever going to take it the same way.
no, no,
And
very cool.
if they're trying to please everyone, then you're not going to be able to do it. But
No,
I'm saying for the quality of film and the cinematography, the effects, everything they had in it was still amazing. I think
oh
I do understand what you were saying about the sort of you sort of almost expect a little bit of comedy factor with it because of what they've done in their old one.
yeah,
But as we both know as well, the fact that people can change and they might want to take it a different way for a little bit and just to see how it goes. And I think it does, for me, it proves the fact that they can do a wide range of films. It's not just it
yeah,
has to have that comedy factor in it.
no, no,
It also has that shock factor. It also has that sort of that real life factor in it, which is like Amy said to me, it's one of the moments where if you're home alone, and you're in the shower or in the bath or even in the like in your bedroom by yourself in a place where you're not expecting to hear noise, it can be that sort of oh my god, what's going to happen moment.
yeah, no, no,
And
no,
the
I
fact that
agree.
they've got that in this film, I think is very very well done on them.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. It's a really good film. It's really well made, well acted, and everything. I completely agree with that. And as I say, I think maybe it was my fault for expecting there to be
Yeah,
that in it. But nevertheless, it's a great film. I say to people, go and watch their stuff. We've said it before. Watch all of their stuff because it's really good. And let us know what you think about it, or whether you think what we've said is complete garbage. It could well possibly be. It's been known before.
it could be. Yeah,
Okay, right. On to our main feature film. Now, this week we are looking at Friday the 13th. Yeah, this is the 2009 remake, which is currently available on Netflix. You can get it on other streaming platforms as well, but you have to pay for it. On Netflix, it comes as part of their normal
yeah, part
film
of their
that are on
subscription.
there. So if you are already signed up to Netflix, you can watch it on there. The director was Marcus Nispel. Now, he did some TV shorts and some music videos in the 1990s and the 2000s. He did a TV movie of Frankenstein in 2004, and he
Yeah,
did a film called Exeter in 2015. I don't know if that's about the place or if it's about a person.
that'd be a weird thing to go from Friday the 13th to Exeter.
Exeter, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's a travelogue. Things going on in Exeter today. Um, right, so yeah, that's that. The the writers. Now, the original story and the characters were created by Victor Miller. Now, he wrote the original Friday the 13th in 1980, and all of the sequels, basically, he had something to do with the writing of. He also did some TV and shorts work in 2000s, 2010s, and the 2020s. He had to do with the writing of A Stranger is Watching in 1982, Never Hike Alone in 2017, Rock, Paper, Scissors in 2017, and The Fall of Camp Blood in 2022. Now, the actual screenplay for this was written was where are we? Damien Shannon,
Yeah.
who also wrote the screenplay for Freddy versus Jason in 2003, and Mark Swift, who also helped to write the screenplay for Freddy versus Jason in 2003. The cast,
As long as they didn't have anything to do with Jason X, I don't mind.
the cast. We have Jared Padalecki. Here we go. Who did some TV and short works in the 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s. He was in House of Wax in 2005, Cry Wolf in 2005, House of Fears in 2007, but he was uncredited, and Phantom Boy in 2015, but it was only a voice. Yeah. Maybe he played the Phantom Boy, I don't know. Then we have Danielle Pennebaker. Did some TVs and shorts in the 2010s and 20s. Was in Sky High in 2005. The Crazies in 2010. The Walled in 2010. Piranha 3DD in 2012. And Time Lapse in 2014. Everyone's got to be somewhere. And we have Amanda Rigetti, who did some TVs and shorts and videos in 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s. Was in Pipeline 2007 and was also in Captain America: The First Avenger in 2011.
Yes.
Then we have the brilliantly named Travis Van Winkle, who did some TV shorts and videos in the 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s. Was in Transformers in 2007, Asylum 2008, 247 Degrees Fahrenheit in 2011, Rites of Passage in 2012, and Bloodwork in 2012. Aaron Yu did some TVs and shorts in the 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s, and was in Gamer in 2009, and was in A Nightmare on Elm Street in 2010, but uncredited. Would seem a bit weird, but there you go. Then we have Derek Mears, who did some TVs and shorts work in the 1990s, 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s and that. He was in Men in Black 2 in 2002, Signs in 2002, but was uncredited. The Haunted Mansion 2003, uncredited. Cursed in 2005. Zarathustra, A Space Adventure in 2005. The Hills Have Eyes 2 in 2007. Resident Evil Degeneration 2008. Hellbinders in 2009. Predators 2010. Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters in 2013. Hatchet 3 in 2013. Dead Snow 2 Red vs. Dead in 2014. Lost Time 2014. Freaks of Nature in 2015. From Jennifer in 2017, Alita Battle Angel in 2019, and Lion Girl in 2022.
Yeah.
Then we have Jonathan Sadowski. Did some TV and shorts in 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s. Was in The Chernobyl Diaries in 2012 and The Devil Below in 2021. We have Juliana Gill, pronounced. TVs and shorts in 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s. It was in Altitude in 2020. Altitude in 2010. Mind Games in 2012. The Apparition in 2012, and Captain America: Civil War in 2016. Ben Feldman did TVs and shorts in 2000s, 2010s, 2020s. Was in Cloverfield in 2008. As Above, So Below in 2014, and 400 Days in 2015. Arlen Escarpeta did some TVs and shorts in the 2010s. Was in Final Destination 5 in 2011. Star Trek Into Darkness 2013, but that was just a voiceover thing. And Walls at the Door in 2016. Ryan Hansen did some TVs and shorts in 2000s and 2010s. In Fantasy Island in 2020. I really like that film. Who Invited Them in 2022. We have Willa Ford, who has done nothing. Either science fiction or horror stuff at all. There you go. We have Nick Manell. Did My Little Eye in 2002, Halloween in 2007. The Black Waters of Echoes Pond in 2009, and The Lost Tribe in 2010. There's a lot of these people who seem to be in kind of remakes.
Yeah.
A lot of remakes. I don't know why that is. Then we have America Olivo. I don't know how you pronounce it. Did some TVs and shorts in 2010s. Was in Iron Man in 2008, but uncredited. The Thirst Blood Wars in 2008, Transformers Revenge of the Fallen in 2009, Neighbour 2009, The Last Resort 2009, Circle 2010, Maniac 2012, and No One Lives in 2012.
Yeah.
Uh, then we have Kyle Davies, did some TV and shorts in the 2010s, was in Resurrection Mary in 2007, The Last Lovecraft, Relic of Cthulhu in 2009, Skinwalker Ranch in 2013, Shortwave in 2016, and The Legend of Resurrection Mary in 2021. Now, that's as far as I'm going to go, but I am going to make two mentions. The first is Richard Burgi, who plays Officer Brack or Bracky. The only reason I'm going to mention him is because he did a lot of TV stuff in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and 2010s. Anyone watching this film will recognize him from different TV shows, but he was also in Decoys in 2004, Hostel Part 2 in 2007, and The Green Inferno in 2013.
Yes.
But his face is just so recognizable.
Well, it's just the thing as well about him is the fact that I've read this up as well. He actually only got told he had the part 12 hours before shooting. So literally, he got told he had the part, flew from where he was to the what, so learnt the lines and what he had to do
Yeah,
en route, and then had to go to the shooting straight away.
brilliant.
And it just shows the talent that man had.
The only other mention I'm going to make is the woman who plays Jason's mum, Nana Visitor. Now, she was in the film of The Sentinel in 1977, but did some TVs in the 80s and 90s, and is probably best known for starring in Star Trek Deep Space Nine. She played one of the major characters in Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Now, she's only in this film for a matter of seconds, really.
Yeah, she's just, and it's not like you really get a clear shot of her, really.
No, but it's just quite interesting that they picked her, or they got her to play that part when she's
Yeah.
quite a well-known actress. Anyway, the synopsis for this says a group of young adults visit a boarded-up campsite named Crystal Lake, where they soon encounter the mysterious Jason Voorhees and his deadly intentions. Now, I'm sure there are a
That
lot of
just sound like
people
a
out.
completely different film.
Now, I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who have seen the original, if not this remake. I would like to say that I have never seen either.
Really?
Yeah, I've never seen the original of Friday the 13th because I never really had the desire to.
Okay.
I think it was because I got so into Halloween that I kind
Yeah.
of like. It's funny when I was younger, there was definitely a split. There were people who were Friday the 13th fans, and people who were Halloween fans.
Oh, the thing is, there still are. There's still that the Friday the 13th, Halloween, and even Nightmare on Elm Street. As much as they're big franchises, they're so split with
See, I like
the
Friday.
sort of people that follow them. Really.
I liked Nightmare on Elm Street and I liked Halloween, but I never really bothered to watch Friday the 13th at all. And then when
Yeah.
it got to the point when it was like Friday the 13th, part 97 and a quarter, I kind of thought, I don't know if I want to spend a year watching these films. So I'm going to start off by saying that I didn't think I would like this film, but
Okay.
I did. I
Okay.
actually really liked this film.
Yeah.
Um, my biggest problem with this film, though, is that I felt sympathy for the characters who were being killed in the first part. The ones that were out camping, who were just some kids who were kind of just having a good time, maybe breaking the rules a bit and that kind of thing, but they were just kids having a good time. And they all got killed in quite a nasty way, quite quickly. It surprised me that they were killed off so quickly into the film because I thought, hang on a minute, because all of those are people I know.
Yeah.
Other
Oh,
things.
the thing is as well. This is what I like about it, is the fact that this, unlike any other film that you see, you get the title sequence first.
Yeah,
This it goes through quite a brutal stage before you even. And it's not even like it's a massive title sequence. It literally flashes up on the screen for like 2 seconds, and then that's it.
yeah.
And it's such a brutal beginning to it.
But the second part of the film, the second lot of teenagers that go into the thing, apart from the one that went off with the brother of the girl from the original lot, I was cheering every time they got killed because I thought they were so obnoxious. I was
Yeah,
happy to see them hit the back of them.
yeah. I've got to admit that the Trent was the one of the ones that I was so happy that he got caught.
Yeah,
I used to then the thing is, I'm the opposite of you. I've seen Friday the 13th, the original. I've got to admit, this makes a lot. This is a lot different. Not massively, but it is in ways, mainly because of the sort of brutality bit of it. But it's a very well done film. Like I was saying, the
yeah,
fact that the original writer and everything he's kept part of it the whole way through every film that's ever been made of anything to do with Jason in it. But I say the fact that I've seen this one, I've seen the originals. I've reluctantly watched Jason X. Um, so it's a very weird thing to see it be redone, and yeah, it's the same as like we watched Halloween last year. Last year, it's it's almost it's almost very easy to see how brutal things can now be before it starts getting to the point where it starts reaching a limit.
yeah.
Uh, Obviously, the first, like we said before, is there was a lot of films in the 80s that come out and they were very good films. I think the original Friday the 13th, for it come out in the 80s, was one of them. And there was a lot of stuff that could be done back then,
Mm.
but the brutality that's in this one, and
Oh,
same
yeah.
within the Halloween film that we watched as well, the the excess of showing the actual sort of what had happened and what sort of the injuries and stuff like that. I thought it was just so it just amazed me how much it actually was a lot more compared to the original.
But to be honest, I really liked it. It's one of
Yeah,
those strange things. I'm not really into that whole thing, gore for gore's sake, but I really liked it because everything fitted.
yeah,
That was the thing that got me about this is the fact that the story worked really well, and everything fitted into the story.
yeah,
So it wasn't like it was just people being killed and gutted and everything, and there was blood everywhere just for the sake of it.
yeah.
You know, um,
My only problem with this, and I think again it's because I've watched all the originals and it never happened. But in the original films, all of the original films, you never see Jason run.
no,
He's always like this, because the fact what happens to, I mean, funny if anyone doesn't know, he's meant to be this sort of immortal zombie, basically.
yeah, yeah.
So he never was fast, but in this one he runs everywhere, and it's a sort of, it was just like that never really happened. You sort of
It's
that's what made it a bit more terrifying. Is the fact he
it's
was
kind of
there all the time, no matter where you went.
it's kind of like the thing they did with the zombie films, though, like the George A. Romero films. In the original one, the zombies were kind of lumbering around slowly. In the
Yeah,
remakes, they were all running, and it's kind
yeah.
of like it just
It's to say it's just that's the bit that made it more terrifying. Is the fact that no matter where they went, no matter how far they run away, no matter where they went, Jason was there, and
well,
they still had moments like that, but
yeah. What I
it was
did
just
like
one of them things.
What I did like about this, I would say, is the fact that they seem to be trying really hard to kind of stick to and evoke the spirit of the original wave of slasher movies from the 80s. That kind of the kind of bits like that. There were a few little bits of nudity in it and that kind of thing, which weren't necessarily needed, but
Yeah,
they weren't over the top. They weren't dwelled upon,
yeah,
but they were there, and that kind of that some of the bits of it, they just kind of really fitted with the original idea of the slasher movies, and I
yeah.
really like that. I like that they kind of held on to that idea.
Oh, it's just one of the things I like about it as well. We've watched the other films where the remakes they've done of films of, especially sort of like the ones from the 80s and stuff like that. Where it's, as we said, like I'm gonna keep going back to it, but like the Halloween film where they sort of tried humanising it.
Yeah,
And in this, they haven't. It's
no,
if anything, they stepped away from it to sort of stepped away from that sort of the relationship he had with his mum and what happened at the campsite. It was spoken about, but you never sort of know much about what was going on.
Yeah.
He was this killer. And I think that was a very, very well done move. The fact that they didn't try humanizing him, they just basically made him more of this mysterious figure that
Yeah.
was this. There was no sort of explanation because everyone's like he died. There was no sort of explanation or story of why he came back, why he was there, what was going on, or if he was
No.
like if he actually died or if he was like what. And I think that was very, very well done of them.
It's strange because when the original came out, I wasn't overly bothered about seeing the original one. I thought it's another slasher movie. I've seen Halloween. I've seen a couple of others, and it just kind of like I can't be bothered with it. So I didn't bother. And then the more and more sequels came out, and the more I thought, I'm just not interested in seeing all of the sequels. But I'm not sure I want to watch the sequels if there are sequels to this. But I would give one a go. I
Well,
think.
from what I could go, from what I know of, I don't think there is a sequel to this remake.
All right.
I think there are just other sequels. Really, though, if I would say, depending on how much of a fan of Kevin Bacon you are, it might be an idea to watch the first one just because he's in it.
Okay.
And him under threat of being killed, I think it's just hilarious.
Oh
But
well,
that's just because I'm not a big fan of Kevin Bacon.
that's the only reason I went to see Carrie when it originally came out. I went to the pictures to see it, and the only reason I went is because of the fact that I'd been dragged kicking and screaming along to see Grease by my then girlfriend. And when somebody said to me, "Have you seen Carrie?" and I said no, they said, "Oh, you go and see it. John Travolta dies in a car crash." And I thought, "Oh, brilliant! I've got to go and watch that." Uh, So that was the only reason I went to see Carrie. Then I went to see it again because of the fact that I actually really liked it. And I thought
Yeah,
I kind of missed a few bits of the film because I was waiting for that. Um,
but it's just this is what I'm saying. It's the fact that there's a lot to it, and the thing is that there's been so many people as well that have played Jason,
yeah,
and
this, this
there's a
guy is really good.
yeah, and if he's known obviously in the whole thing for doing a lot of horror films, a lot of monsters,
Yeah,
a lot of but the other guys that have done it as well have been as well. It's like um, in I can't remember which one it was now, but he's the same guy that done this like, Hatchet and he's done all that. He's done
yeah,
it as well. There's been so many people that have done it, and I think it's one of them sort of badges of honor to say, yeah, I've played Jason, and the
yeah,
fact that there's not been a Jason film where anyone's gone that was atrocious.
yeah.
Apart from one, maybe, but that's just because I don't like it because it's just very predictable.
Let me Jason X by any chance.
Yes, it for anyone that has watched it, and I will say, if anyone out there that is listening to this wants to prove me wrong about the fact that he is a good film, I will gladly take on that challenge.
I've got to say, I watched Jason X. It's the only one of the sequels I've seen. And the only reason I watched it is because I was fascinated to work out how the hell they were going to get him in space.
Yeah,
And I watched it, and at the end of it, I thought, well, that was a waste of time, wasn't it?
yeah, exactly my fault. So it was more. I knew exactly what was going to happen when they brought the woman on the ship and the nanites that were on it helped her. I knew exactly what was going to happen after that,
Yeah.
and it
But
just
yeah,
bugged me. I was like, that's just pointless. But the thing is, again, I like the fact that it doesn't. This film it doesn't go into depths about like why he's injured quite a lot in this. He gets
yeah,
stabbed, he gets shot, he gets beaten by with a lot of stuff, and he's still going.
yeah, yeah,
Like the fact that they pretty much choked him out and cut his head open with the tree shredder, and yet
yeah,
he still managed to get his revenge on one of them.
absolutely.
So
Yeah,
I'd
I
say
mean, I
I'd
would.
love this one.
Oh yeah, I thought it was really good, and it kind of. Yeah, I mean, it's a strange thing. There are times when I can watch a film with actors in that I know from other things and not find it a problem. One of the few things I had a problem with in this film was the fact that the guy in the first lot of teenagers plays the lead role in American comedy show called Superstore. which
Yeah.
I really like, and I couldn't get that quite out of my head. But the other thing was that the the brother of the girl who survives the first lot, and the girl who goes off with him, the brother is in Supernatural,
Yeah.
and the girl played Killer Frost in The Flash.
Yeah.
So
It's one of the things that sort of I got me like I said when me and Amy watched this, she was like, "Is that Jared from Superstar?" I was like, "Yep, that's the same one." And she was like, "That's a bit odd, isn't it?" I was like,
yeah,
"Yeah, that is a bit odd." But it's the thing is that again, it's for we were saying about like slasher horror films, as we said before, and Amy made a point of me making sure that people knew this. The fact that, as we said before, with like she said before, she's not a big horror fan.
no,
Doesn't like slashers. Doesn't like jump scares. But yet she sat there and there's only the one jump scare at the end
yeah,
which got her. But the rest of it, she sat there fine with it. She actually said to me that she really liked it, and it's got a sort of her approval on it. And it's the things that it's one of the things. As much as it has their moments, it's not an over the top film. It's not in your face. It's not gore for the sake of gore.
no,
It's genuine reasons why. And I
that's
think
right.
it's some of the bits in it was so well done as well. Like
Oh, the
the
effects are
makeup,
fantastic.
and the costume design, the prosthetics, or whatever they've done for it, have that done was so well done.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, they are the effects are absolutely brilliant, and yeah, I couldn't fault them for the quality of the film and the film itself. The story works, as I say, and it really really works well. I'm glad I watched it. Um, there's a part of me that might think about watching the original, but I'm not sure. Depends if I can force myself. I might do one night. I've got nothing else to do for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
Uh, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Right, so there you go. We have three films there. We had what was the first one again?
Pardon?
Can't remember what
Takeover.
Takeover, yes, Takeover, which is a good bit of comedy, sci-fi, a good bit of fun, definitely worth a watch. Then we had The Bath, which is a good film. It's a really well made, really good film from Deformed Lunchbox, and all of their stuff is worth watching,
Yes.
no matter what it is, to be honest, and no matter what my reservations may be, whatever. And then we have the remake of Friday the 13th, which is available on Netflix, as well as other places. What I will do is, because we don't have a link I can put up for that, I will put a link up to the trailer, which is on YouTube, so that if you haven't seen it, you can have a look at the trailer and decide whether you want to go
Yes.
to Netflix and watch it or whatever. And that's about it, really. Thank you very much, Scott, for joining me and being part of the ever burgeoning elephant of conundrums that is the world inside my cranium.
So the part of your brain that tries learning how to talk.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's a weird thing. It's kind of like I'm quite an erudite sort of person, really. I can talk quite well. I've stood up and given speeches. I've performed on stage. It's never had a problem with it. As soon as I start signing off from this, I haven't got a clue what the hell I'm talking about.
I know it is always the thing. Like we go through a moment, we do a little bit of a ramble at the beginning. We then talk normally in absolute sense, and in the last little bit, it seems to sort of go downhill very rapidly.
Yeah, yeah, it's a funny thing, but there you go. Right. So yes, next week we will be doing the same again. We will be doing two short films and a feature film. Going to alternate. We're not necessarily going to alternate so that we do 1 week horror, 1 week sci-fi, but that is what we're doing at the moment. So next week we will be doing a science
A
feature feature
science
film.
fiction fiction.
Yes, science fiction feature film. Don't start with me, boy. Um, so we will have two short films, and then we will have a science fiction feature film from 2016.
Yes,
So, thank you, Scott.
that's okay.
Thank you to anybody and everybody that may be listening. Welcome to 2023 and to season 5 of the
No,
Sciforror Film Podcast. What?
Season 4.
Season. Hang on, I've lost my head. Where's my brain gone? Where did I write? Did I write season 4? Yeah. Where did I say season 5? Welcome to 2023 and season 4 of the Sciforror Film Podcast. I am now going to go and boil my head and see if it helps my brain to soften up enough for me to be able to talk properly.
Well, it's not going to matter after this, is it?
I would say a rude word, but I think we might get cancelled. So, on the whole, it's been a wonderful. And we will see you next week. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
The Sciforror Film Podcast.